Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today let's talk about Francis Bacon's essay of truth. Of Truth, 1625. Francis Bacon, 1561-1626. Once more we can recollect Francis Bacon's three sets of essays. Three editions of essays. First edition came out in 1597 and that contained 10 essays. The second edition, an enlarged version of the first one, published in 1612, contained 38 essays. Another third and final edition, published in 1625, contained 58 essays. Francis Bacon's essay of truth was first published in 1625 in the third and final edition of his essays titled Essays or Counsels, Civil and Moral. This edition contained 58 essays, and Of Truth appears as the first essay in the collection. Bacon explores the nature of truth, why people avoid it, and its importance in life. Bacon argues that truth is fundamental to human existence and to morality. Despite this, many people prefer lies over truth because lies bring a pleasure and illusion. Truth is essential for moral integrity, justice, and wisdom. Despite the temptation of falsehood, people should strive to uphold the truth in their lives. Truth brings honor, respect, and ultimate peace, whereas lies bring temporary pleasure but a long-term destruction. Let's go to the summary of the essay. First, there is the difficulty of accepting truth. Truth is hard and rigid, while falsehood is enticing and comforting. People find a pleasure in lies because they make life more enjoyable. Bacon says, a mixture of a lie doth ever add pleasure. The pursuit of truth is noble. Seeking truth requires courage and wisdom. Truth leads to clarity, honesty, and righteousness. Philosophers and great thinkers dedicate their lives to discovering truth. Lies and deception in society. Many people deliberately choose lies for personal gain, entertainment, or manipulation. Politicians, businessmen, and even ordinary individuals often use falsehoods for their advantage. Bacon criticizes those who use lies to deceive others and warns that it ultimately leads to harm. The divine nature of truth. Bacon compares truth to God's light, pure, unchanging, and eternal. Truth is a reflection of divine wisdom and justice. To follow truth is to follow a moral and a righteous path. The practical benefits of truth. Truth brings peace of mind and prevents guilt and fear. Honest individuals earn trust and respect in society. A truthful person is steadfast and reliable, while a liar lives in constant anxiety. The corrupting power of lies. Lies destroy trust, relationships, and moral integrity. People who constantly lie become trapped in their own falsehoods. Bacon warns that a society built on lies will eventually collapse due to lack of honesty and trust. Now let's have a look at the images and symbols Bacon used in his essay to give a stress to his points. Bacon's essay of Truth, 1625, uses several powerful images and symbols to explore the nature, value, and challenges of truth. These figurative elements enrich his philosophical reflections and reflect his Renaissance humanism and empirical outlook. Here are the key images and symbols used in Of Truth. First one. What is truth? Said jesting Pilate. Image or symbol. Pilate's question, that is from the Bible, symbolizes skepticism and avoidance. Meaning of the sentence. Pilate's refusal to wait for an answer reflects humanity's tendency to evade truth rather than confront it. Bacon opens with this allusion to highlight how truth is often dismissed with irony or indifference. Truth as naked and open daylight. Image. Truth is like a daylight that is clear, illuminating, and direct. The symbolic meaning. Truth reveals things as they are, without ornament or deception. While beautiful, it can also be harsh, exposing uncomfortable realities, unlike flattering illusions. The next image. A lie as a mist or a false light. The image. Lies are likened to mists or illusions that distort perception. The symbolic meaning. Deceit obscures clarity and misleads judgment, much like a fog or artificial light distorts vision. Lies are often more appealing than truth because they can be shaped to suit desires. The next image. Mixture of a lie doth ever add pleasure. Image. A lie is seen as a seasoning added to truth, like a spice to food. Symbolic meaning. This reflects the idea that people often prefer embellished realities, truths made more palatable by fiction. Bacon criticizes this aesthetic approach to knowledge. The next image. Truth as the sovereign good of human nature. The image. Truth is framed as the highest virtue of the human soul. The symbolic meaning. It suggests a Platonic or divine ideal. That is, truth is not just useful but ennobling, something that elevates human life and aligns us with the divine order. The next imagery. The inquiry of truth, which is the love-making or wooing of it. Image. The search for truth is likened to courtship or wooing. Symbolic meaning. This romantic metaphor emphasizes the passion, persistence, and reverence needed to pursue truth. It gives a human emotional depth to philosophical inquiry. The next imagery. Truth brings the mind into the consort of angels. Image. Knowing truth lifts the soul to the level of angels, in harmony with the divine order. Symbolic meaning. Bacon connects truth to spiritual elevation, suggesting that the truthful mind participates in cosmic or eternal harmony. Now it's time for us to go to the main quotations from the essay. The first one. What is truth? Said a jesting Pilate, and I would not stay for an answer. This opening line sets a skeptical tone, quoting Pontius Pilate from the Bible. Pilate's flippant question implies a dismissive attitude towards the pursuit of truth. Bacon criticizes this mindset, suggesting that avoiding truth is a common but a dangerous human tendency. The phrase highlights how truth is often treated lightly even by those in positions of power. Now the next quote. Truth is a naked and open daylight, that it does not show the masks and mummeries and triumphs of the world, half so stately and daintily as candlelight. Here, Francis Bacon contrasts truth with illusion by comparing it to natural daylight, which reveals things plainly. In contrast, lies are like artificial candlelight, flattering and romanticizing reality. While daylight or truth is honest, it lacks the seductive beauty of deception. Bacon suggests people often prefer lies because they are more aesthetically pleasing than plain truth. Now the next quote. A mixture of a lie doth ever add pleasure. Bacon observes that lies often make life more pleasant or palatable, especially in poetry, drama, and even social content. He criticizes the human tendency to prefer embellishing versions of reality over the starkness of truth. The statement critiques both personal and cultural self-deception. It also reflects Renaissance interest in the role of fiction and rhetoric in society. Now the next quote. But it is not only the difficulty and labor which men take in finding out of truth, nor again that when it is found, it imposed upon men's thoughts, that it doth bring lies in favour, but a natural though corrupt love of the lie itself. Bacon argues that the preference for lies is not merely about the effort truth requires. It comes from a deeper moral flaw. He identifies a perverse human attraction to falsehood, suggesting that lying has an almost seductive appeal. This insight presents truth-seeking as a moral and intellectual discipline. Bacon critiques human nature as inherently inclined towards illusion and ease. Now the next quote. Certainly, it is heaven upon earth to have a man's mind move in charity, rest in providence, and turn upon the poles of truth. This quote describes the ideal human condition, guided by love, trust in divine order, and anchored in truth. Bacon presents truth not only as intellectual clarity, but as spiritual peace. It provides the stability and orientation for meaningful life. The metaphor of the poles suggests that truth gives cosmic direction, much like the stars guide navigation. Now the next quote. The inquiry of truth, which is the lovemaking or wooing of it, the knowledge of truth, which is the presence of it, and the belief of truth, which is the enjoying of it, is the sovereign good of human nature. Bacon uses the stages of courtship, wooing, presence, and enjoyment to describe the pursuit of truth. He elevates this process to the highest human good, connecting intellectual pursuit with emotional and spiritual fulfillment. The metaphor humanizes truth-seeking, making it intimate and noble. This triadic structure adds elegance and rhetorical rhythm to his prose. Now the next quote. Men fear truth, for it doth make them bound to realities and not to their imaginations. Here, Bacon highlights that truth is often feared because it limits fantasy and freedom. While lies offer comfort and flexibility, truth demands accountability and a confrontation with the reality. This fear drives people to escape into illusions. The quote reflects Bacon's broader concern with how truth disciplines the mind and challenges self-indulgence. Now the next quote. The lie that is sinked in and make the man's mind rest there as in a sanctuary. This metaphor presents lies as false sanctuaries, places where people take emotional refuge. It implies that deception offers psychological comfort even as it leads one away from truth. Bacon warns against this passive acceptance of falsehood. He critiques how people become mentally and morally stagnant when they surrender to pleasing illusions. Now the next quote. It would be an unsound mind that would delight in falsehood, when it is the truth that gives light and a direction. This line frames delight in falsehood as a sign of mental corruption or weakness. Bacon uses reason to argue that truth is inherently superior as it offers guidance and clarity, much like light to the eyes. The quote emphasizes the rationalist belief that truth aligns with a human reason and a virtue. It supports the essay's ethical stance on honesty as foundational to wisdom. Now the next quote. Truth may perhaps come to the price of a pearl that showeth best by day, but it will not rise to the price of a diamond or carbuncle that shows the best in varied lights. Bacon compares truth to a pearl which has beauty in plain daylight, but not to jewels like diamonds that shine under varied lighting. The metaphor suggests that truth's beauty lies in its constancy and simplicity, not in dramatic effect or allure. This reinforces the essay's theme that truth is subtle and quiet, but deeply valuable. He warns against overvaluing things that merely sparkle rather than endure.